Students, today I am once again with the lectures on scintillation detectors, scintillation counters. It is very important detectors, as in our previous lectures we have discussed about the GM counter, proportional counters and other counters. Today we will discuss about the scintillation detectors. The scintillation counter or detector is a device used for detecting and measuring the energy of radiation. So the scintillation counter in its simplest form was first introduced by Rutherford and his co-workers while studying the luminous excited in zinc sulfide by alpha particles. A screen coated with zinc sulfide or barium platinocyanide or calcium tungstate when exposed to alpha particle produces scintillations which were counted by a low power microscopes. This instrument was also called spinthariscope. The process of counting the scintillation is a tedious process. The eye restriction the counts to about 100 per minute. The invention of the photomultiply tubes and a better understanding of the luminous properties of many organic and inorganic substances have removed these drawbacks, and the scintillation counter is now widely used in studying nuclear radiations. So the simple counter means scintillation counter was first introduced by Corain and Becker in 1994. We are using here the conventional materials of the zinc sulfide screen. When alpha particle fall on the zinc sulfide, it produces flashes, flash of light, scintillation. These flashes can be seen with microscopes. As I have earlier told you that the eye restrict the count to about 100 per minutes. So we use the microscopes. Another common examples of this is the television screen, which emits visible photons under electron bombardment in a cathode ray tube, CRT tube. So you are familiar with the CRT tube. In +1 or +2 you know about cathode rays, working of the cathode ray tube. The most commonly used scintillator includes inorganic alkali halides like sodium iodide, cesium iodide, naphthalenes. Some noble gases like xenon also exhibit this property. These radiations are detected with the help of photo multiply tube, PM tube. So there are many types of scintillation counters, scintillation detectors. These are inorganic crystals. Under the inorganic crystals, sodium iodides is there, and cesium iodide is there, calcium fluorides is there, zinc sulfide is already discussed here, because you know that it was the first scintillation used in the nuclear physics. Making big transparent single crystal is quite difficult, so we are using the zinc sulfides. Other is the organic scintillators. The decay time of light produced due to ionizing radiation is much shorter as compared to the sodium iodide detector. So the organic scintillators can be operated at a high count rate. These detectors are practically more suitable to beta countings. Other is liquid scintillators. In these detectors, scintillation material is dissolved in certain suitable liquids. In some applications, radioactive source is thoroughly mixed with liquid scintillator. These detectors are mostly used to count very low activities, especially that of beta particles. Now the principle. It is based upon the principle that the nuclear radiations on falling over a fluorescent material like zinc sulfide produce light flashes called scintillations, which are detected with the help of photomultiply tubes. Now the constructions. So The scintillation spectrometer consists of three main components. One is the scintillation detector or crystals. Second is the most important, that is the PMT or photomultiplier tube. Third one is the electronic circuitry. So today we will discuss one by one. The block diagram for scintillation counter is, here is a charge particles and scintillator is there, flash of light go here, and PMT tube, photomultiplier tube, then the electric pulse and amplifier and counting the device. This is the block diagram of scintillation. Yeah, I can say that the scintillator consists of a scintillating material which is optically coupled in a photomultiplier tube directly or via guide lights. So the light coming out from the scintillator due to the impact of radiations is transmitted to the photomultiplier tube. Transmission is there in this way. I have shown it in the arrows. Where it is converted into a big current of photoelectrons which are then amplified. The electron is here and electric pulse is there. This electric pulse is very big. So we can amplify by using the amplifier. In this system, after amplifying this pulse, we can count the rate of the charge particles. So resulting current signal is then analyzed by the electronic system. These systems. 3. Scintillation detector are crystals. The passage of a charged particle through the scintillation material, some of the scintillator atoms to become excited. As the excited atoms return to their ground state, photons are emitted. The number of photons will depend upon the energy lost by the charged particle traversing the phosphor. To that, the total light flash will depend upon the energy given up by the charged particles. In many cases, the light flashes are not sufficiently intense. The intensity of the flashy light are not so sufficient to be seen by the human eyes. They can be detected by a positive or by a sensitive photomultiplier tubes. There are so many form of scintillators are available in the markets. I just write down here about some scintillator which are commonly used is NaI. Yeah, I can say sodium iodides. Second is cesium iodides. Third is calcium fluorides, zinc sulfides. These are under the class of the inorganic crystals. Organic scintillators, there are also so many of organic scintillators, because these insulators have very poor efficiency as compared to the sodium iodide detector, as compared to inorganics. So most of the time we are preferred to use the inorganics. Next is liquid scintillators. In these detectors, scintillator material is dissolved in a certain suitable liquid. In some application, a radioactive source is thoroughly mixed with liquid scintillator. These detectors are mostly used to count very low activities, especially the beta particles. Photomultiplier tubes. It is the full form. PMT means photomultiplier tubes. Basically are extremely sensitive detector of light in the ultraviolet or visible or near infrared regions, IR regions, infrared regions. These detectors multiply the signal produced by the incident light Y as much as 10 raised to the power 6 to 10 raised to the power 8. The combination of high gain, low noise and large area of collection means that these devices find application in nuclear as well as particle physics. So the constructions of the photomultiplier tube as shown in the figure, the photomultipliers are constructed from a glass vacuum tube which houses as a photocathode several diodes and anodes as shown in this diagram in this figure. Incident photons, this is the incident photons, strike the photocathode of the PM tubes and electrons are produced. These are electrons. Here in the dotted lines we are showing the electrons. Electrons are produced as a consequence of the photoelectric effect. You know that when we are using the X-rays or gamma ray interaction with the scintillation, it may be in the form of photoelectric, Compton or pair production, which we have discussed in our previous chapters already. Okay. Now the photocathode is generally coated with either antimony rubidium cesium or antimony potassium cesium. They act as a phosphors. These electrons are directed by the focusing electrode towards the electron photomultiplier tube, where electrons are multiplied by the process of secondary emissions. So the electron multiplier consists of a number of electrons called diodes. What are diodes? The electrons multipliers consist of a number of electrons called the diodes. Each diode is held at more positive voltage than previous one, approximately 50 volt to 100 volt. The electrons are ejected by the photocathode. As they move towards the first diodes, they are accelerated by the electric field and arrive with much greater energy. On striking the first diodes, low energy electrons are emitted and these are accelerated towards the second diode. So this process is continuing: first diode, second diode and third diode. The geometry of the diode chain is such that a cascade occurs with an ever increasing number of electrons being produced at each stage. Finally, the anode is reached where the accumulation of charge results a sharp current pulse indicating the arrival of photon at the photocathodes. Electronic circuit. The third part is electronic circuitry. Scintillation counters are capable of detecting whose times of arrival are separated, considered y less than 10 raised to the power minus 6 seconds, very small time. They are faster than GM counter. Furthermore, the voltage produced by the photomultiplier tube has an amplitude proportional to the energy dissipated in the phosphor by the incident particle, so that it is possible to determine the energies of individual incoming particles. Now the working of the scintillator counters or detectors. The light coming out from the scintillator due to the impact of radiation is transmitted to the photomultiplier, where it is converted into a weak current of photoelectrons, which are then further amplified by an electron multiplier system. The resulting current signal is then analyzed by the electronic system. The next stage of scintillation detector system is the PMT, which converts light into measurable electric current. These pulses are amplified by linear amplifier and are given to the discriminators to remove the low level noise pulses, and then they are counted in a scaler. Now the uses of scintillation detectors. Organic scintillator detectors are used to measure energy of X-ray and gamma rays. They are generally high efficiency, is nearly or approximately 100% in case of sodium iodide detectors. They are reused and can with mechanical jerks. So scintillation detectors have very short dead time, approximately 10 raised to the power minus 9 seconds, permitting very high counting rates. The organic scintillations detectors are used to detect beta and alpha particles. Some of the limitations are also of the scintillation detectors. The sodium iodide detector is hygroscopic. If it absorbs moisture, it is completely damaged. So this is the most limitations of the sodium iodide. Moisture is content is there. Secondly, the energy resolution of these detectors is very poor. Suppose we take the sodium iodide detector, the energy resolution is 8 to 10% at 662 kilo electron volts. One more thing is there are so many types of scintillator detectors which is not in our course. I just read out here the cesium iodide, zinc sulfides, organic phosphors, plastic scintillators, thallium activated, and sodium iodides. These are some types of scintillator, but these are not in our syllabus. Yeah, these are the behinds of this syllabus. Okay. Thank you. If any queries or questions, you can contact me on my email or on my WhatsApp. Thank you once again.